Taoiseach, the Youth Council of Ireland's report is suggesting that half of young people are very unhappy with their housing situation, and more than half feel their mental health is seriously being affected by this issue. Have good reason to feel that way. Just give you two examples. This week I met a family who are being evicted, working family, notice to quit on grounds of sale. They're in receipt of HAP now, but they're being evicted. If they are made homeless and put into emergency accommodation, they will not be entitled to HAP because they're over the threshold. So if you're on HAP, your income can go up because you're working and your rent increases a bit, and the same in social housing. But if you're made homeless because you're over the threshold, when you need the help most, you're told you can't have any of it and you're not entitled to social housing either. So you're trapped in social housing. It's crazy. I know another working mother who's, for the similar reasons, is in emergency accommodation for 4 years with her son in a one-bedroom accommodation. Those sort of anomalies have to be addressed because working people who've done nothing wrong are now getting trapped because they're a bit over certain thresholds in a situation where it's hopeless, homeless, where they've no chance. By the way, the only accommodation available to them is $3,000 a month. Their combined income after tax is $48,000. So to pay that rent that's been charged in the area without HAP support, they would be paying 75% of their income on the rents that are available out there.
Murphy.
Thanks, Count Corla. Taoiseach, you told your Ardèche that you would move mountains to get the children out of the box room and into a home of their own. We know what the consequence for the children are of being in the box room. The NYCI report talking about over half of young people having low mental well-being precisely because they're stuck in the box room, no prospect of having a home, having space to themselves. We know why we've gotten to this point, and in essence it is because we've had housing policy driven by a kind of perverse version of trickle-down economics. The idea of giving money and incentives to developers, to big landlords, and hoping that's going to get the market moving and get housing going. It hasn't worked up until this point, and the housing crisis has got worse and worse. The indications in terms of your reign as Taoiseach, marking any sort of turning over of a page on that, are not good. I mean, one of the first decisions it seems that you have made, you might confirm it, is to extend the waiver of the development levies. You might say how much that is going to cost the state. Originally, 1 year, so I presume another year, is going to cost in excess of €300 million. €300 million, which could be public money, which could be sitting in local authorities and used to build housing, instead being left in the pockets of big developers. This is not the way to address the housing crisis. This is the way that has been tried and failed over and over again. Instead, we need to use public money, not to give it to private developers, but to actually build and retrofit homes on a significant scale.
Deputy Murphy, we have not yet taken a formal decision in relation to the waiver, but I do expect us to take a decision on that very shortly. It hasn't yet come to government, but it is my position, and we have a different view on this, I respect that, it is my position that I would like to see it continue. I see it as a measure that is reducing the cost of building and therefore helping to stimulate supply. And I do think commencement figures out later this week, Thursday I believe, I hope will begin to show the real impacts that that's having. Look, I don't think it's either or. I think we need to provide a whole variety of housing. There's people in my constituency who require, need and should have social housing. There's people who want a starter home, an affordable home, and there's many of those kids living in the box rooms whose mums and dads want them to be able to buy a house. So I don't think, respectfully, and we'll have these debates, that we should say, is it social and public or is it private? It needs to be both.